Alright, sorry for the lighting, but I just finished off my workout thinking I might start a new series here of kind of doing the Sam Sulek, I guess is the best way to describe it, but I don't really want to rip him off, but also I haven't really seen enough of his videos to know what his formula is, aside from similar to this. But yeah, no, the last couple weeks have been tough. So what I mean by that is I just recently started a new diet again. I've been working out for the last 3-ish years now. It's been a while. And I haven't been super successful in the terms of I've lost weight. I started out at 310-ish is when I started. I was chubbier, a lot more fat in my face, a lot more body fat overall, and just not the best physical shape whatsoever. And over the last 2.5, almost 3 years now, I've just been going to the gym consistently, just trying to improve my physical strength, my physical health, and just the fact of where when I was that much and I weighed that much, just walking up some stairs and just like overall everyday performance was just shit. I was always just like not moving around a lot. The work I had was mostly sitting down and not moving much, and being on my feet for more than 4 hours hurt like hell, and I couldn't stand it. Now 3 years later, I'm working as a quick lube tech at my local dealership, throwing up truck tires every single day for 10 hours a day, and I am lasting for that entire duration without much issue. And on top of that, after I'm done there, I come here and work out at the gym. And I've been doing that for the last year now. But the one downside's been the fact of where I could never get my diet straight. And like they say, the muscles are built in the gym, but your body is built in the kitchen. And that's kind of been the thing I've been trying to improve upon. I did decently the beginning of 24, because in the beginning of 24, when I started really taking my fitness journey serious, I got really sick and had a bad case of the stomach flu. And that gave me kind of like a cheat code almost of where as soon as I got sick, I was sick for a solid week with the stomach flu. So I didn't eat for a week. I basically was throwing up for 4 days straight and couldn't digest anything aside from a little bit of water just to keep myself hydrated. But even then I was like, I lost a shit ton of water weight. I lost a shit ton of fat, and it was like a week of just a fast diet, and it was awful. But in that course, I went from being 310 pounds because of that flu, I dropped down to 270. And at 270, I was like, holy shit. So then after I recovered from that sickness, I went back up to 285, but then I realized, oh, hey, as long as I get my diet under control, I do some weight loss stuff, I get everything taken care of, I kind of caught that. And right around that same time, Dana Lynn Bailey was doing her Summer Shred Fest. And as soon as that started, I'm like, oh, that's sick. And then Echo Vision did their, in honor of Baxter passing in that year, in that time frame, they decided to do an honor of Baxter weight loss challenge for him. And they did that. So I joined both of those, and it was over the course of those, I went from being 280 to 264. And I was at 264 for a solid year, and then last year hit, and other things happened. I started gaining a little weight, but also I didn't lose weight, but I also didn't gain weight. I just stayed at a stagnant. Like I went up from 264 to 275, and I just stayed at 275 for a full year, which in of it itself is still awesome. The fact that I didn't gain weight but didn't lose weight means I was at a maintenance that entire year somehow. And I didn't track calories, didn't do anything for a good amount of time. So then since then, Christmas rolled around, and that's like right when all the emotions, depression, anxiety, meeting some people I didn't want to meet, having some old relationships brought up that I didn't have, like old friendships and whatnot. I haven't had a relationship romantically yet, but friendship wise, I've had a couple of friendships that I've had that I treasured that kind of had more light shown upon them as to like what they actually were, that took a toll, and started gaining weight, and realized that within the course of a month, I went from being 272 at the beginning of December to the beginning of January, I weighed in at 285. At the beginning of January, after all that started settling over, and I started to realize, hey, I got to take control of this. I got to start taking care of myself. I can't let this keep me down. I took some advice from a friend, one of the friends who I had that relationship revelation with, that I decided that, hey, like, even though our relationship is not going anywhere and it's not going to go anywhere ever, the advice that they gave me I can use to better myself, and I need to kind of get my head out of my ass and get my shit together. So I took that, and another close friend started saying similar things as what the other friend was saying. I'm like, holy shit, I need to really step my game up, because I'm basically eating myself alive, and it's not doing good for any of us. and I'm basically making all my relationships outside of, like, all my personal relationships worse because I'm making myself worse. So I gotta shape up. Since then, it's been almost exactly 3 weeks. 2 weeks ago, I bought Macro Factor again, signed up for a full year, and with that, right around that same time, I found out Jeff Nippert also had Macro Workout, which is his workout app that basically takes your Macro Factor information, adds onto it workout plans and regimes and all that stuff to help you plan out your workouts and do everything better. And since then, I've been doing that for 2 weeks. I've dropped 4 pounds. I went from 285, I'm now at 281. My new diet is around 1,900, 2,000 calories a day for a very strict diet, but it's not strict. Because what I mean by that is, even though in Macro Factor and everywhere else I'm looking at, it's like, oh, if I want to lose as much weight as I'm trying to lose, that's not super healthy. But also I've been kind of more liberal with what I eat, where I'm giving myself like a 500 to 1,000 calorie leeway of where if I have a very tough day, if I have a really long work day and I'm feeling like absolute shit, I am not going to say no to a little bit excess. In that regard, I've had some days where I've hit my goal of 2,000 calories perfectly. Like today, I'm right now sitting at a total of 1,300 calories. I'm going to get home, cook my lunch, add a couple eggs, get a little bit more veg in there, get a little bit more protein. I'm going to finish off the day today at 2,100 calories, which is only 100 calories over. But then the last couple of days, I've had one day where I hit 2,200 calories and it was perfect, but then the next day I hit 2,700 calories, still within the limit. The highest calorie day I've had over the last week was one day I hit 4,000 calories because I had a D&D party with my friends, ate a shit ton of pizza, and then went and watched a movie with them, and that was a big day. But that's something where as long as I plan for it and I'm like, hey, I can give myself these days. As long as I allow myself a little bit of leeway and then I control my ambitions and my wants to an extent, I can help myself better my diet. Instead of going on a crash diet, I'm like, okay, I'm going to cut out everything. I'm going to stop eating Oreos. I'm going to stop eating snacks. I'm going to stop going to get fast food. I'm going to cut everything out and I'm just going to eat healthy and meal prep. That's how I failed the last 3 diets I've tried, is because of that, because I keep going all in and then after 2 weeks I quit because I can't sustain it. It is not sustainable full time, especially for somebody who likes food like I do. So I decided that this time I'm going to do the approach of, I'm still going to track everything. I'm still going to try and count all my calories as best I can, but give myself the leeway of, if I want that pizza, I'm going to say yes to it. If I can say no to it, I'm going to say no to it. And I'm going to try my best to get my cravings and get my wants and temptations under control first, and then go from there. And so far, it's been working pretty well. Like I said, I'm down 4 pounds. Granted, 3 of those pounds are more than likely water weight. 1 of those pounds, if I'm lucky, might actually be fat, but from the average caloric average I had over the last 2 weeks, I'm at 2,600 calories average throughout the week per day, which is still good. I'm still within a 400 or 500 calorie deficit, because for me, my resting metabolic rate is around 2,800 to 3,000 calories. And because of the job that I work, being as physically demanding as it is, I work 4 days a week, but it's 11 hours a day, like I said, throwing up truck tires and whatnot. And then those 4 days are always split up weirdly. So I'll work 4 days straight, 4 days straight, 5 days off, 4 days straight, 1 day off, 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, 1 day, and 4 again. And it's like a very weird split, but it works because it gives me the 5 days off. But then on top of that, it's kind of difficult to like plan meals around that sometimes. But so far it's been going good. The workouts have been getting more and more intense. I kinda almost threw out my back. I messed up on a squat. I was going for my max 270 squat because I'm not the best at a barbell squat. I love leg days. I've been doing like leg press and a lot of other supporting workouts around that, but I'm not good at barbell squat, just mainly because I'm not confident enough. I know I could get higher weight than that. I'm just not confident, so I haven't been doing it as much as I should. And that's kind of the mistake I made, of where I got overconfident. And because I got overconfident, I decided to go for the full 270 that the workout planners told me. And I knew I could do it. I did it. I did the full 5 reps. Sadly, the 5th rep I did, I went down, and instead of going straight back up, I kind of went up like this and then up. And because I kicked my back out a little bit and kinked myself a little when I did that, it dislocated a disc in my lower back. So that's been annoying to deal with. But it's slowly been going back in place. I've been trying to figure things out, not taking things too intense, and slow down my workouts a little bit, but still trying to keep my diet under control. And it's been getting better. Compared to the first day, my back's a lot better. It's a lot more tolerable. I'm thinking as long as I keep doing the stretches and keep getting the massages and keep trying to well, better myself. It'll get better and I'll get over it. So yeah, by that point, we'll see how it goes. But as of right now, I'm about to go home and get myself some dinner. It's kind of hard to believe that I woke up at 6 a.m. to get to work at 7. Worked from 7 to 6, 11 hours. Had an hour lunch, but during that lunch, all I had was a protein bar. And then after that, I got to the gym at 6:30, and I've been at the gym with a friend for the last 2 hours doing a full leg day. Yeah, it's been a long day. 13 hours so far, and I haven't even gotten home yet. So I'm gonna go home. I'll keep chatting with you guys while I drive, but I apologize if it's a little loud because my phone's hooked up to my car. But yeah, so in terms of goals so far, the goals I have for my goals, or I keep saying that same thing, my goals for this year are essentially to drop down to 240 before the end of the year. That was my goal last year because I was hoping to get to around 240 before Halloween so I could cosplay as Kraven the Hunter. That didn't really work out, sadly, so because that didn't work out, that's one of the reasons why I kind of got depressed, because I just let myself get to a point where I was in a headspace of, oh, I failed this goal. Because I failed this goal, I'm never going to succeed, I'm not going to be able to do this good enough, and this whole thing that went on after that. But that's still my goal for this year. I'm not going to give up on it. I'm going to keep trying, and we'll kind of go from there. I'm going to try and start posting as much as I can. Maybe not daily for sure, certain, but I'm going to try and get as close to daily as I can. Just because if I can build up a routine with my workouts and I can build up a routine with posting this, I can hopefully give myself more encouragement every day of just posting just for myself, basically. And then if any of you actually see this and get this far in the videos, well, that's just a bonus. Then awesome. Hey, I can actually maybe see how some of my friends see this and talk with some of you guys and maybe help other people who are also dealing with this stuff as well get back into it and kind of help better themselves. But this is a betterment journey for me. It's a recognition of I'm in a position right now where mentally I am overly negative. Physically, I am way too lenient. I am living above my means without actually trying to make things better in a lot of ways. And a lot of ways I've noticed is that it's a domino effect. Financially, I'm not doing the best because I keep splurging my money on things I shouldn't. Because I keep doing that, my mental health stagnates because of it and gets worse. Because my mental health gets worse, my workouts get worse, my physical life gets worse, and then my relationships get worse because of that. So it's just like a big old game of ping pong of where back and forth, one reason after another, excuses after excuse, when in reality, the best thing I can do is start. It's to start, to keep going, and then just keep working at it. As long as I'm in debt right now, but I'm paying my payments. I'm not behind on any payments. I'm making those payments on time, and everything's financially, I'm in a better position than I could be, because I could be in a lot worse positions in life. I have a reliable car. In fact, I'm driving my dream car. The fact I'm driving my dream car, which for most people, my dream car is not anywhere close to what they would want. It is granted, it's still expensive. It's a $40,000 sports car, kind of sports car. It's advertised as a sports car, but it's a four-door hatch. And for most people, hearing that, it's like, oh, why the fuck do you drive a hatch? Why do you have a hatch of all things? You could be driving something else that's much cheaper. And granted, my private previous car that I had was much more sustainable and probably should have kept it for a lot longer. But truthfully, that's kind of the leeway I gave myself of where, yeah, I kind of messed up with this car, but also, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Every time I drive this car, I'm like, if I don't have this car, my mental state gets worse because this car is so fun to drive. I've dreamt about this car for so long, and cars similar to this for so long, that I need to it's just something that helps. It's not a necessity, but kind of is, because I need a daily driver, and this is just a all-encompassing perfect car for everything. It's a 2024 GR Circuit, and I absolutely love this car to death. But aside from that, my physical health has been stagnating as well, because I do work out every day, but it's still not enough. Because just because you hit the gym every day, it's still amazing, it's still good. Please go hit the gym every day and work out. Not every day. Give yourself 2 or 3 rest days a week, if not more, depending on how long you've been working out, where you are in life. But But for me, for my lifestyle, and for my goals, the way I worked out is I'd hit the gym, for like an hour a day, and I still do things, but they weren't planned out. I wouldn't plan my workouts out. I wouldn't do the right things properly, if that makes sense. And it was just like dumb. And maybe I should have kept the light on so you can actually see me, so I apologize. It's been completely dark, but it's just one of those things of where, that's not it. There we go. That's better. You can still kind of see me, but it's not fully shining the light in my face. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like physically I was just in a stagnated area where I was working out every day, but those workouts were too much or not enough, in the sense of I was just in a constant sense of mediocrity. And then my diet was shit. I just didn't give a shit. I just kept eating whatever I wanted, not caring and not doing what I'm supposed to. And that didn't help any either. So because of that, I'm going to try and do things better, and I'll keep you guys updated. But here's to hoping that as long as I can, like, my goal right now in terms of small goals, like my smallest goal is, as long as I am not gaining any weight, my goal is to not gain more than 5 pounds within a month. As long as I am not gaining any weight, and best of all, as long as I'm losing at least like a pound a week, so if say like 4 pounds a month, so within 2 weeks I go from being 282 to 280 even, or 279 even, and I stay at 279 for a full week, and then keep like slowly progressing downwards. That is perfect. That is like my goal, because if I can get myself in a habit and habitually eat a certain amount of calories a day and be in that goal every single day, that's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I'm looking for. Sorry, I'm going to turn the lights off because it's getting a little difficult to drive, so I apologize. You're going to be in the dark for another couple minutes. But that's like my number one small goal. My next goal is better communication. I kind of got lucky because at my job, funnily enough, because they have so many salesmen and everything, they're actually trying to help better communication amongst their workers. So they literally have a leadership communication class that happens once a week. I'm sadly going to miss this week because I have 2 appointments that happen at both days I could show up on, which sucks. But next week I'm going to show up to them. They aren't the best classes because honestly they don't have like actual 100% professionals that are showing up to teach those classes. But it's close enough to where it's helpful. It's helping. With my communication skills being as shit as they are, it's better than nothing, that's for sure. And being able to take those classes and having the ability to take those classes and do that is absolutely amazing. And that's another goal I have, is just being better at communication, getting better at talking to people, being better about expressing myself, but not being too open, but not being too closed off. And 100% the number one thing I want to work on is definitely being more positive. That's the one thing that I've noticed I struggle with a lot, that I've had 2 people in my life tell me, hey, you're always negative, you're living in your head, you're living in a fantasy world that you're setting up for yourself in your mind, and because you're living in a fantasy world, you're having conversations with people without even talking to them. You're imagining things that will never happen with that person, and because of that, you are unable to communicate with that person and actually have any sort of relationship. Because granted, as somebody who's never had a romantic relationship, the worst thing I'm doing to myself is imagining fantastical relationships with women I find attractive, who I think would be a good match for me, and then imagine a full-on relationship with that person, but then I never talk to that person, so then I never even know if that could be a reality. Whereas if instead of living in those fantasies, I could work on my communication skills and better myself to the point of where I can actually talk to that person, and worst case scenario, it doesn't work out. We part ways, it just ends up being, hey, I'm not into you, goodbye, I don't want to talk to you again. Okay, cool, that's how it'll end, and that's fine. That's okay, that's not a bad thing. But then I could then use those communication skills of being like, oh, hey, I've been rejected as many times as I have been. I can learn to talk better and communicate better. And because I can communicate better, I can then use those skills to communicate better to other people. And before I know it, hey, maybe I can get lucky. Well, this is where my imagination, fantasy brain comes in, where, hey, I'll actually be able to communicate better with a woman and actually become friends with that person. Then, hey, who knows, maybe that person has a friend who might be a good match for me. Or if not, the skills and of communication that I will gain from that relationship of just being friends with that person will then help me much greater in the future for when that significant person does show up in my life. Whereas if I stay where I am now, if I do come across that person, I could be the complete worst person for that future fiance, wife, hopefully lifelong partner. And that's another goal I have, of just making steps towards better communication in general with everybody, with my friends, with my family, with anybody that I know of. And that means just, that's one of the things that's been difficult. And that's another reason why I want to make these videos, is because of that, of where if I can make these videos and talk to you guys and then watch those videos back and see how my articulation, how my communication and everything has talked, and then use this as a bit of a pinpoint of where, hey, in the middle of January, in the beginning of February, on February 2nd, 2026, I look back at myself and I'm like, oh, hey, I was in a position where I was driving this car, I was living my life, and this is the kind of relationships I was in, this is the communication skills I had. And then I look back at this a year from now and I can look at myself and be like, well, that improved, that didn't improve, holy hell, I improved a lot in that. Oh wow, I weighed 280 in this video and I am now 270 or something like that in the future. That'd be amazing, and that's kind of the goal of this. So hopefully tomorrow, don't know if I'll be able to film anything tomorrow, but my next day where I have a longer period of time at the gym where I can actually have more focus, of where I can actually like film some of my workouts to show for you guys, and actually go over my workouts that I'm doing through Jeff Nipper's macro workouts app, and kind of go through that stuff with you guys. I will, and start kind of bring you guys along with my workouts and do all that stuff. But I do apologize if this is too close to what Sam does. Please let me know what I can let me know if it is. But if it is, I don't care, if I'm being honest. Not between any offense to Sam. I love Sam. Sam Stokes is awesome. I've seen a lot of his videos, but I've never seen his long form videos on his YouTube channel yet. Like, I've seen bits and pieces. But if this is too close and he says that I want to need to change my formula, I will. But this is just what I'm more comfortable with. But if you want, I have a lot of other goals I have as well, so I'll talk about those as well later in the future. So another thing I need to work on is definitely filler words, because I keep using way too many of them. But anyways, have a good night, guys.